SEO Mastermind right here on YouTube every Thursday with me, Chris Palmer with chrispalmer.org. So in today's video, what I want to go ahead and go through is going to be a segment of our SEO Mastermind training. It's a mini training having to do with actual mini nets. So what I want to lay out for you today is some of the core concepts. I'll give you tutorials, I'll give you guides, walkthroughs, but more I want to give you the concepts of what we're looking for and why it's helpful. Why would you want to start doing this? But I also have to lay out tutorials. So we have a little bit of time together. If you have any questions, feel free to go ahead and put them into the chat. I'd love to answer them for you. With that being said, I'm starting a little later than I wanted to, but let's go out here and note, just like you saw in the thumbnail or in the title, right? Look at this, mini nets. All right, so mini nets. What are they and why do we want them to be small? So that's going to be the very first core concept in this specific training, all right? So one of the main reasons that we actually want them to be small, first and foremost, is going to be the thing that you're probably thinking, right? If I'm acquiring assets and I only have 4 or 5, it's going to cost me less. Plus, on top of that, with one of our core link building strategies, to keep these category and relevant, right? To keep their authority up, keep links pointing to them, keep getting crawls. How do we do this? Well, that's the next concept I want to share with you here quick. All right. No, we want to keep them small because I'd rather have 5 hyper category specific websites that I can control and maintain with ease over 1,000 websites, right? If you can manage more, I think the sweet spot is 10. I don't think. I know the sweet spot is going to be 10, but it's based upon category when you're working on a website. All right. And maybe I should lay that out for you. You see, let's say you're working on a personal injury law website. All right. Here, let me show you something here quick. So let's just say that you're working on a personal injury law. Okay. So, and just hypothetically speaking, this is in Philly. Okay. This is a core service. This is for car. Okay. Very high potential chance of actually helping human beings and making a lot of money, right? Dollars are only accrued when I'm giving value to the marketplace, right? A car accident lawyer is high value, right? Some may disagree. But with that being said, we have a core concept, a core idea, all right? Now, when we're talking about having our mini net, the reason why we want small, nimble, category specific, full control is this right here. So we're going to have one of our first assets. So this could be number 1. This could be number 2. This could be number 3. Maybe I should have went this way, huh? Left or right, Chris? Hey, well, can't win them all. And then this would be number 4. All right. This is 4 core assets. And you'll see in the past videos throughout the training, we walk through what categories are, how you find category specific. How do I know I'm building in the right category? I cover all of that. But what we're looking at here is we're going to utilize these 4 assets that we control. And this is in Philadelphia. So these are on US IP. And it doesn't matter if it's cloud. It doesn't matter if it's dynamic, as long as you can zone. You know, with the utilization of Cloudflare now, you can zone the traffic. So, you know, those old days where you may or may not have been using Cloud Pages, NetFlyer, any of these tools. The problem is when traffic was routed in, it was whenever the server was fastest, right? That's how it would work. Or if the tools were pulling your backlink profile, it'd be pulled from the closest to the tool. So then the websites would look like they were in Japan or Australia or Canada, but we only want USA. So what's the fix? Well, you can actually route the traffic, okay? So no matter where this person is at, no matter what, this is always being served from US servers. Even if it's dynamic, it will be in the same block of IPs and US, all right? So that way it's perceived as a much higher TLD, a much higher quality. You with me? I digress. Okay. So here's the next thing I want to share with you, building on the same idea. Remember, we have a car accident lawyer here in Philly. Here's our 4 websites that we own and operate. Now, each of these are having traffic that is being routed in USA, and on top of that, it's only sitting inside of a block that's only US if it's dynamic. Very high quality domain. On top of that, when we acquired this specific domain, it already had 1,000 referring domains. That's actually unrealistic. Let's keep this more realistic, because you'll see as we go through the training, you're probably going to be finding hyper category specific websites that have links 250 to 300 that have actually been crawled in the last year. So it's probably going to be about 300. Because as links aren't getting crawled, they're losing value. Okay? I need consistent crawls. All right? So if I'm looking at an expired domain or an old website and we build up this mini net right here, if I'm building up this mini net and it has 1,000 referring domains, but 900 of them haven't been crawled in the last 9 months, that trick doesn't work anymore. All right? So back on topic, 300 category specific. We are looking to power up this car accident lawyer Philly page. All right? We control this asset, only US traffic, US TLD, perfect site, perfect control. So how do I keep this perfect? And how do I keep this giving value to this asset? Well, one of those remedies is this. All right? And here, we'll come back to this in 1 second. I want to point this out to you. How do I keep those assets fresh? How do I keep them strong enough to stay top of mind to Google and to other search engines and LLMs or whatever's important to you? Well, how we want to go about doing this is, let's just say this is our domain number 1. All right? What we want to do is we can acquire other smaller domains that have maybe 50 RD that have been crawled in the last year. Maybe 75 RD. But remember, they're category specific. Then on this website here, this website has more than one page, right? I'm not going to 301 these to the home page. That would be insane. What we will do is we will utilize the other pages on the website in order to continuously push relevance and authority through links. All right? And that's your core link building that's category specific at 1/10 of the cost. You can acquire these for $8, right? 8 to 12. Okay? So and this is what we want to do. We're going to keep feeding these to the internal pages. All right? This will not be fun to edit, by the way. But I'm enjoying this. All right. I was asked to do this. Plus, it's part of a mini training anyway, so we're all good. Let's go back to our car accident example, okay? I hope you're having a wonderful Thursday. Summertime is horrendous, especially in this little dungeon. So we have car accident here in Philly, all right? Now, if you remember correctly, we actually had 4 assets that were all pointing to it. The only difference, though, is this is going to be number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. Now, we already know that we have a continuous flow of hyper-specific, category-specific links pointing to these assets. Now, remember, when we're building these links or these websites, and we're 301ing them to the internal pages, note, each page is also a hub to push traffic through. Okay? We're going to get to that next, but bear with me. So, what we want to do here is this. 1, 2, can't forget number 3. As we continuously build these links here, okay, they're all 301ing to internal pages here. We can continuously build these links to this page, and we have full control. And here's the best part, all right? This is an asset that's category specific, and there's one page that's about car, most notably in Philadelphia, that always has an influx of equity coming in. However, that page that we create, because we have full control, there's no limitation, right? We know that in 2026, moving forward, relevance is rank. right? How can I pass more relevance? We've already nailed all the bases, right? We have best TLD, the best categories. We're continuously getting an influx. I've routed the traffic. The tools say it's a good site. We've nailed all the bases. So the way that we're going to pass power is that car accident lawyer Philly, if you go and look at the winner, they rank for more than one term. In order to be the winner for car accident lawyer Philly, I actually need to be a winner for probably 1,000 different variations. Are you with me? Because this page needs to be optimal for not just car accident lawyers, attorneys, but their variations. Crash and injury and case and settlement, all these other terms, right? So these are the exact terms, A tags, that we're going to utilize on this asset. Are you with me? We want to maximize the A tag usage on this specific website here, this page, I should say, pointing to the car accident lawyer Philly page. Okay? Now, this way this is a hyper-specific, very rich domain. And every term that I want to rank this page for, I'll actually have an A tag for it. And here's what the best part. It counts as one IP address, right? It counts as one RD, flying right by most tools. But the best part is, though, there's 300 backlinks with varying anchor text, passing all of that relevance. And why would Google value that? Well, that's why we're building this mini net. The reason why they're going to value this 300 is because this is a perfect domain. How do we know? Because we built it to be specifically perfect. The traffic that it gets, the keywords that it's actually going to pull in. I don't care if it ranks 100, but this site probably ranks for some of the term and term variations. Actually, it has to. It's at least getting traffic for them. Are you with me so far? I hope you are. Wonderful. So far, what did we lay out here? Let me just recap in my mind so I don't double back. I got to open this door or I might faint. It is Thursday. Okay. So I did that. Let's keep it moving here. Oh, sweet. Okay. All right. Next ideas. All right. So here's the next ideas that we're going to discuss. So we talked about why we want to have a small miniature network. Okay. Now, one of the very good and core reasons that we want a small network is because we can stay nimble. We can keep it hyper-specific. All of the reasons that we've already mentioned. You see, but if I said that I wanted to create a network, Facebook pages, right? YouTube, LinkedIn, IG. See, if I said I wanted to build a social network, you'd say, oh man, you're on the right track. Why shouldn't you not still be passing relevance through assets that Google's still rewarding? I'm still going to win snippets on them. I'm still going to get traffic for them. It's an asset I can run traffic through and pass equity. When you're building your networks moving forward, yes, I want the Facebook pages. I want the business pages per location. Absolutely. I want Reddit and the subreddits to do with my service and my location. All of that, yes, absolutely. But don't think that websites that are hyper category specific aren't going to hold value. The reason why they're going to hold a lot of value, not as much as IG and LinkedIn, but Google doesn't value what we say about ourselves. But they will value, even if this, I'm not saying that it will be, even if this was a DR2, if I said that this is the best truck accident lawyer in all of Philadelphia, right? But I don't just have one website. I don't just have one page. I have 100 of these different pages, all variations talking about the same services, same locations in different variations. You with me? Google will still not just Google, every other similarity-based engine will still give value to that. Why? Because it's an opinion found around the web. All right. Just like if people on Facebook are talking about your brand. Same thing with LinkedIn, same with Reddit posts. We can utilize these assets in order to shape opinion and get rank. Also push ourselves some authority. So that's that. So that's another reason. All right. So we want to stay nimble. We want to stay small. The other reason is that we want it to be part of our overall fortress. Social fortress. Let's crack this. All right. So the next question that I generally get, sorry about that. I'm dying in my little office. The next question that I get is, what type of content should be on these assets? As you know, each of the websites, let's just say we're going to have 4 to 10, maybe perhaps 20. We know one of the link building activities. One of the core pieces of content or content strategies that we want to deploy is that we want to always be answering an intent. So if I have a business that I'm promoting, that business is made up of what? Basically 3 things. One, you have the business itself, right? That's an entity class, all on its own. Next, the business is made up of people. The business itself, the organization, people, and lastly, maybe our favorite, location. Okay? So with that being said, BDL. So what do we want to put on top of these websites? So I'm just going to give you one of the concepts that I wrote down, at least, that I wanted to cover. All right, because it'll be important for you. You know who you are. All right. And I want to build these 2 core concepts out. So first and foremost, I want you to look this up. GUID. Okay. Figure out who the winner is in whatever niche. This is a separate idea. I just want you to know about this. GUID. Okay. Look this up. For your services, your locations, your organization, your business itself, the people that work there, and the locations. What websites or what assets, doesn't have, it could be a Facebook page. But what is the GUID and the UUID? There's tools that you can look this up. I would go out of my way, just grab those. Make sure you have those, okay? And we'll talk about that in the next training. But let's get back to the content. All right. So I'm only going to break down one framework when we're building out the content. All right. So if in the back of our mind, we're always servicing a goal of intent, location, people, places, things, one of the assets that we want to start putting on here or start talking about in order to generate traffic is we want to use what is called, mind my spelling, genealogy. All right. When we look at a genealogy file, okay, GEDCOM, I think it's called. Not really, don't hold me to this. But genealogy, the file that makes this up right here, this, I think it's GEDCOM. This is actually a file type, a vector type, that will have 1,000 different pieces of information. This is the information that we're going to be putting onto the assets. Now, that might only cover the people. Are you with me? So this is one vector database that we're going to cover in order to generate our content. All right? It sounds hard. Trust me, it's not. It's very easy. You get a list of 1,000 things. Hey, Samantha is our absolute best car lawyer, okay? So Samantha's our absolute best car lawyer. All right, who is Samantha? Well, we figure out what the GEMDOM is, and we fill out the information for her. Okay, great, we covered that. What's next? Well, then you need to figure out, well, what is the core information when the LLMs or Google is trying to decipher what a business is? A great place to start for this could be wiki data. Okay? This could be great for organizations. Genealogy or GEDCOM files, that's great for outlining people, right? The next aspect that you need to look at, maybe one last one. All right. Maybe the most important and personally my favorite, and let me think to myself here, is when we're trying to get the location information. All right. Now remember, these are pages that are essentially on a mini network. You know, this isn't going to be world-class times.com content. Our only objective with this content, and we know that it's not going to be regurgitated. No one else is going to be talking in this manner. It's going to be unique, piece-specific. It indexes. It's considered high quality because it's a unique point of view. Trust me, this is how it's done. All right. Here's the next aspect that I want to showcase to you. So I believe, and I could be wrong, if you go and you take a look at, what is it, AGSI, I believe it is, or ASRI, don't hold me to these. What this is, these are companies just like Mapbox, right? You know how you always see Mapbox in the very bottom of Google? Well, this company here is Mapbox, but on steroids. And here's what I mean by this. See, the data that this company, it's going to drive me crazy if I don't get you the exact name, so give me 1 second. I don't remember off the top of my list, but give me 1 second here. What is that? ASIR maps data. Give me 1 second. Let's see here. No, it's not the next GIS. No. Actually, let's just say it's this one. I know that it's not, but here's why it's important. All right. Google, credit card companies, maps, Bing Maps, Xperia, all of these companies, all right, in order to validate and verify a person, a location, age, email, tons of data, this company will give you the layout for the tons of data on location. Okay? So you can get this map itself, and for a mere $4, I can get every single attribute added. And that could be in regards to my business. So for a mere $4, I can go and add 2,000 attributes to my business. Are you with me so far? And then this can become an embed. That's all I'm getting at. I know this is supposed to be a blog page, or it could be a top level page, whatever you want. But how we want to factor in the locations that we're servicing is we want to go and acquire this map data. And it's so cheap and easy to acquire. It's not as cheap as some of the other files and the other data sets because they're free. But this one has a lot of value, and there is a barrier of entry. Even if the barrier of entry is slight, it gives you an advantage. Okay? Why is this important, Chris? It's not the $4. It's not the tool itself. It's the format, the semantic layout of the actual content that they want. Like, what are those attributes? Like, how does Google or whatever tool you're utilizing know that that's a map location? And how do they know how big the backyard is? Do they have how old's the roof? All of this wild information. There's tons of them. I believe there is 2,000 or 2,400 different attributes. So with that being said, it's very easy for us to fill out all that information. And if I'm on the asset, the authority asset, let me show you something here. Here's a micro lesson for you. Here. All right, core business that you're helping, your business. Okay? Joe's Plumbing, we'll just say. Okay? If on this website here, all right, if this is Joey Jr., okay, I'm just, for instance, it doesn't have to have the same name. Joey Jr., okay? Plumbing.com. You get the point. If I say here that this business has been here for 13 years, and on top of that, I say that, well, they've been at this location, and on top of that, better yet, not only are they at this location, but I have all 2,000 attributes dialed in about Joe the plumber. I have the embed. I'm pointing to this asset. Are you with me? Are you seeing why we want to do this? And this is only on one page. As long as I'm hyper relevant and the pages and the title and the URL are unique based upon intent, I'll still get credit for the backlinks. Are you with me here? So as long as they're intent unique, when we're dealing with these hyper category specific websites, the mini nets, what we want to make sure of is we can build out, 100 different pages, tackling each of the vector types that we're trying to propel here for whatever business we're trying to help. What are we trying to propel? Well, the people that are there, the services they provide, the locations they provide them in, and then we want the organization itself. This is the data set that we need to hold up. Hey, you see, everybody's trying to hide. You see all these tools and all these commercials. Oh, hey, your data is being found online. See, when you're a business owner, you want to give it to them. Not only do I want to give it to them, I want to figure out, okay, for each of the types of information, how much can I give you? And I want to be the one that says what that information is. And that's what you, of course, right? Because at the end of the day, if we had 100 different plumbers, right? Everybody's going to say we've been in business 10 years. But this dude says 100 years, and it's been repeated online 100 times. Must have been in business 100 years. Right? Okay, I digress. I do believe that you should understand the concept here so far. So we talked about location. Let me drill into the intent of a backlink. Let me just drill down on that for you really quick. All right. So on a website is always more than one page, right? Obviously, Chris. So when we're taking a look, let's just say that these are each pages, but they're on one website. Each of these pages are centralized around one category, right? We can go back to our car accident lawyer. So this could be car, right? This could be personal injury, so on and so forth. The only thing that we want to make sure that we're doing, okay, on this website is we can have another page that's going to be about car, okay, as long as the intent changes. And what I can do is I can have as many A tags pointing out from this page, as long as this intent of this page is unique. I'll get credit for each of these A tags, backlinks. What I mean by credit is one simple thing. If I'm trying to rank this website for car accident lawyer terms, right? Remember, to be the winner for car accident lawyer, I actually have to win 1,000 different term and term variations. I have car accident settlement Philadelphia, car accident crash lawyer Philadelphia, right? I want them all. So what we're trying to do here is I want to be able to have 5 to 10 websites that all have 100 pages pointing to here. So essentially, I built 5,000 variations from hyper-specific websites, right? I built 5,000 backlinks that are all hyper-specific. At least it's highly effective at this moment, okay? And that's what I mean by intent. As long as I'm not just, I can't have car accident lawyer, I can't repeat it, is all I'm getting at. Good, I think that hammers that home. I only have one more thing I want to get out. And I am getting the heck out of here. Because it is hot and we started a little later than I wanted to. It's the little guy's last day of school tomorrow. Very excited. He did phenomenal this year too. So he gets out a little early tomorrow. So I gotta make sure I'm very well rested. All right. So we talked about the GUID. Well, that was just as a side note. All right. So the ideal size, we covered that. Ideal size is small, numerous reasons. Really, it's just for affordability and to be able to actually manage it. We talked about why we would still want these assets. It's not just the overarching amount of backlinks that I can create with different anchor text that's going to actually hit every vector. It's not just that. What I also want is this. Remember, I have full control. A web page, yes, has value as long as there's links and it's being seen at least one time in the year. Is it in the forward-facing caches or the forward-facing index? Yes or no? It generally falls out about 9 months. All right? So our core goal here isn't just to have that one page. You can get by with that, but I'm not going to win Car Accident Lawyer Philadelphia doing that strategy. No way, right? So what do we want to make sure that we're doing? Let's just talk about this because websites are actually there to pass through traffic, all right? And when we're passing through traffic, it's for the same anchor terms that we're going to build in our backlinks. Remember? Because we have our website that we want to win, okay? Last idea, last concept to bring this home for you, okay? I hope this has been helpful for you. So no, this is car, lawyer, okay? And of course, we're in Philly. Coming for you, Rosen. Nah. Just kidding. Just kidding. No, I'm not. All right, here. So, hey, we have this here, all right? Philadelphia car accident lawyer. Now, note, this page, in order to be a winner for Philadelphia car accident lawyer or car accident lawyer Philadelphia, this page actually probably ranks for about 500 to 1,000 plus key terms and key term variations, right? Of course it does. High quality page should rank for thousands of key terms. Why wouldn't it? So we have this page, and it may not be ranking for all 1,000, but it's in the forward-facing index. Google is continuously thinking that this page is relevant for 1,000 different things related to car lawyers in Philly. Now, our goal moving forward is to keep this 1,000, because if we can keep that 1,000, Google will start testing us with more. Why? Because if people are coming to it and people are ending sessions on each of the 1,000 terms and term variations, well, obviously they've done a good job. Google's done a phenomenal job if 1,000 different people for all the terms are showing up, right? So, and that's exactly what you're manufacturing. So here you go. Here's what you want to do. So you have these here. Oh, wow. We have our websites. I'm not going to draw out a bunch because I simply don't have the room. But remember, on this particular website, all right, we have our backlinks. Remember, probably up to 1,000 outbounds. You would never do that. This is hypothetical, okay? Maybe 100 to 300, all right? These are the backlinks. Oh. All right. Pointing to this page that's already maybe not ranking, but getting traffic and visibility for these 1,000 terms. So now I have a hyper relevant website with anchor text, hyper specific anchor text pointing to this asset. Can't get any more relevant. But it can. And this is the next step. So when we have these A tags on this page that match this site that we're trying to win, that means that I'm also relevant on this page for these term and term variations, right? If I'm relevant for these term and term variations, I may not win all of them, but now I am in the top 100 results. I don't want to use that much bandwidth. Really, if you want to be in the top 3, like I want to hit top 3, top 4. For a car accident lawyer, Philly, probably like page 7, page 9, but I digress. Let's just say it's page 9, okay? And on page 9, I actually end up ranking on page 9 and page 8 for 105 different variations. Perfect. There's my entry point. Because now what I can do is I can initiate a search for term and term variations. I can land on asset that I control, funneling traffic, equity, relevance into this site that I control, and I win. And on top of that, I'm able to pass even more value to our main asset, to our firm, right? Through the hyper-specific terms that we already want to win, and we're already winning. It's the fastest way for us to move all of our terms up the page. When you're doing your keyword gap analysis, right? You're looking at your keyword gap analysis and you're going through your keywords, right? You got like car lawyer, right? You have car attorney, okay? And this would be like Philadelphia. You have a page of, say, 50. You have 20 pages of 50. And what you're looking for is, I'm looking for a high impression, right? High impressions, low rank, all right? Or my second favorite that I'd like to look for is I want to look for 0 click, hurts my heart, right? But it's getting a boatload of impressions and it's on page 2, right? These are the terms that I want to have my asset set up for. Like, hey, these are very valuable term and term variations, right? When somebody's looking for a very specific settlement or a crash or a very specific ailment, what do they say? The reaches are in the niches or whatever. I forget what the motto is. But you get the point here. It's just like when we're doing keyword gap analysis, except for we're looking for and identifying these key terms that this one actually ranks for, and now we're running traffic to our main asset. All right? Traffic, links, internal A tags. And on top of that, we're continuously building equity here. Like, don't be bashful. Stick a flipping form on this page. All right? I know there's rules and regulations. This is for education. All right? But why not just put an embed here? That way it's just a window. If you go take a look at a lot of the winners throughout the marketplace, you'll notice that they own a remarkable amount of different variations of their own name, right? Like everybody knows that the law.com, lawnet, right? Law.org, okay? Everybody has all those. But have you been seeing a resurgence of the subdomain? Now, what I'm noticing, this is another lesson for you, by the way. What I'm noticing, though, is there is a diminishing return here, all right? I have not seen anyone, at least in the car, like the law space, personal injury law, or in the motivated seller lead niche, like for real estate. I haven't seen anyone in these two niches, which can be relatively difficult at times, going above 2. So they'll generally have 2 that are set up. And what I've seen successful time and time again is picking the core state and the core city that you're operating in, especially if you're in the motivated home buying elite like lead buyer. All right. So when I'm building out my subdomain, I'm going to do Texas dot whatever the website is. Okay. And then I'll do Houston because this is my core location, the core location I want, not where I already have a GBP and I have a page over here already. Right. That goes without saying, I hope. Houston's a core because it's what I really want, but we're actually in Austin. You with me? This is what I see time and time again. It's generally too, they're not going crazy. Remember that tool back in the day? What was it? Magic Page or Meta Page or something like this? I forget what it was called, but they would crank out like 1,000 subdomains. And I even used to do this for I've shown it to you guys a few times. I had a guy called AAAC Wildlife. Dude, we cranked out so many pages on that site. And then to this day, I think they still rank. Wow, it's been 8 years. Let's go see. We were making those. I forget what we were making them in. I think we were doing it in Excel. Here, like if I look up wildlife removal in Houston, it's called AAAC. It'll be subdomains, or at least it was 8 years ago. Let's take a peek. Bayou City. Wow. That one's up at the top. I remember when I first met this gent, he was working with another guy too that was doing a lot of the execution. I remember this is the one like that they wanted big time. So in any case, I digress. Nice guy. All right, let's see. Is there anything else that I should outline here? All right. So why we want a small. Okay, so we covered that. Okay. GUIDs are based upon completely different idea or concept. Okay, I think you're one of the people that's watching. This is for you. All right, you're asking about the strategy for the indexation. Okay, you're lucky this is Mastermind session. This is going to be taken down off of public YouTube. But here. So when you're creating your feeds, right? Let's just say that this is an RSS feed. RSS.xml. Why do I feel like I want to put an H there? Any case. Inside of this page, no matter what, for each link that you're trying to index, there's pieces of information that you have to have, right? Oh. Some of those core pieces of information, look at this writing. Wow. That's just beautiful. Oh my goodness. There. The core piece of information that we want to make sure that we have title, right? Date. I think it's like date on update. It's like the update. The date. Hold on 1 second. Date, title, the update time. Oh, obviously the URL, and then the done dot of the one I want to lead you to. All right. I don't know what's been going on, at least in the last few days. All right. But this is the thing that I play around with when you're having trouble utilizing the strategy with the RSS feeds. All right. Make sure that each item is unique. Okay. Remember, you have your item. Okay. Your date, your publication date, right? The title is going to be whatever the URL is. Okay. But that GUID, right? That you make sure that you have that identifier. I know you read everywhere like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, right? Phooey on them. What I would go and do is whatever the core category is that you're plugging into GSC, right? Because essentially you're taking the XML and you're tying it into the indexing API, right? So I'm taking this RSS feed and I'm taking the GUID of whoever the winner in the category is. All right. For instance, I go to Forbes.com, I grab their GUID, and every single one of these is Forbes. And it goes. Just make sure you grab an authority. Not always. So if you're running it regular, okay, grabbing, I think Linkgopher does it. There's tools out there to get the UUID, that's a Google code, and then you have the GUID, that's old school. It's old school. It's like a WordPress or Perl thing, you know? I don't know the ins and outs, but I know it's old, right? But there's something there, right? When I'm running the script regular, like I showed you, and we're running our RSS feeds and we're putting our list in, okay, and updating it. If everybody starts, I want to say crying, like, oh man, like nothing's working, well, then I start grabbing authority GUIDs instead of my own, and it goes. All right? All right. That's for you. Best drawings ever. All right, so we covered that. Content to add to the websites. I only gave you one strategy. That's a complicated one. I have to break that down better. That's not going to be for everyone. The people that, you know, I have two other projects besides the white label stuff that I do with my partner, Mike, like completely separate flows, right? So whether it's going to be in the real estate, SEO, white label, you know, Chris Palmer, and then I do personal injury, right? You know, these are different flows. Like these people will grasp those concepts the way I explain them, but I don't know if everybody would be able to digest that. I'll have to think about that better. So, link building. All right. Does it make sense to you on the link building aspect? Right? Like it makes complete and utter sense on why you want to. I have this core asset that I just bought. This is a URL, right? This is a website. Now, this website is, of course, in only 1 to 3 categories. The category that my client wants to rank for, right? Or you want to rank for. This page, the pages that are on this website, everything's category specific. All right, I'm not going to dig into that. But it makes perfect sense to you that I don't want to just start firing in, definitely not GSA. I know this would be an egregious thing to do, right? But I don't even want to go out and get other guest posts, right? Singular. You know, even if I'm going out there and paying $1 a pop and they're category specific and the dude will roll me off the homepage, right? Let's say I'm getting homepage roll-offs for $1, right? Not bad. You know, he showcases 50 on the homepage. That means he's got to sell 50 units before I roll off. I'm going to be on there at least 90 days. I'm going to get credit for it, right? Not a bad deal for $1. You know, $1 to $8 is generally going rate wholesale for guest posts, for the junky ones, right? But these guys are starting to get smarter, at least the ones I talk to. All right. So what they'll give you is they'll give you a homepage roll-off link, homepage. It'll be category specific, but this will only have 40 referring domains, you know, and it's going to roll off. But the problem is still, it's going to be only one link. Even if it's $1, I still am making, I'm still getting far more value buying an asset that was archived or expired and relaunching it, re-indexing, right? Because we can index relatively quick. Like Google will make a decision. They have quantum processing. They can make a decision very quickly if that site has any value or not, right? And don't be blinded. Like, I don't care if the website that I just bought for $8 only has 75 referring domains in my category. I paid $8 for this, right? When it comes update time, this is going to flush down the toilet. We don't want that. That's out of here. Let it cycle through to the blackjack guys. You know what I mean? That'll be out of here. We're going to siphon all this equity off of this. right? Because as no matter what, even if I'm building links to it, even if I'm building continuous anchor text, even if I'm pushing traffic through it, a website, a web page, a link, it's no matter what, they're all going to zero. No matter what, right? So we want to stay fresh. A business doing good business is consistently getting reviews, right? Well, a website that's a good website is consistently getting fresh, new, category specific authority links. So just keep that in the back of your mind. So that makes sense, right? Like I don't want to go buy singles, even if I'm getting them for $1, because I can buy whole websites for $75 and have full control. Having that control of the header, of the footer, of the sidebar, and to be able to maximize my A tag flow. And then too, when I'm remember when you used to be able to see the cache date? Like if you're plugged into Search Console, which you should be, remember, always hide in plain sight. We're not doing anything wrong. We're offering value to the marketplace. Doing anything wrong. Why not have Google Search Console on a separate email? But with that being said, this is plugged in. This is consistently getting seen, every 9 days? Right? Because you have schema. It's on the site. You're pumping traffic. Right? I'm getting all of this equity. This is just the value exceeds the cost times 10. All right, so I think that hammers that home. The value, the control. Oh, there's so much there. And then too, we didn't even talk about this. Remember, this is a Diggity idea, by the way. Remember when he came out with, not all of these concepts, not by a long shot, but this one here, foundation. Remember he had the, what do you call it? The social fortress. Perfect name, right? Well, that concept still exists. Like we want to build out our Facebook page, our main core business page. But then we have those other business pages. You know what I'm talking about? So each service in each location would have its own business page. And then, of course, what's even better is we can have a group. And that's just Facebook. Okay? So that's this asset. Now remember, this is us. This is our entity. Okay? We have all of this amplifying. This is who we are, this is what we do, and this is where we do it. Because your website is the most authoritative. Remember, I don't know if you've just joined me or not. I don't even know how many people are watching this currently, but if you see this on the replay, if you watch back in the very beginning, one of the core concepts that I covered was, here, I can't do this. It's driving me bananas. All right, this is our core website right here. Who we are, what we do, where we're at. All right, we start building out our social fortress, FB. Okay, FB. One more time, FB. Okay, but let's not forget we have our group. Okay, now on top of this, what we want to also have is our LinkedIn. Okay, we also want to have our Reddit. We also want to have, you get the point. On this website, before I clean that thing off, there's like dust all over it. Ugh, it's so gross. It's getting under my nails. In any case, what I say on my asset is what is going to be broadcasted. Because remember, we're doing the genealogy content. We're doing the location-specific content. We're also talking about the people that work for us and the people that we've actually serviced. Right? People, places, things. That's what our content on our website is about. Now, each of those pages, it's information, right? And it's our website. I mean, these pages could be 5,000 words, 10,000 words. I don't care if anybody sees it. I just want to make sure, hey, Is it in the forward facing? And can it be seen? Why? Because all of the core ideas that I need, right? All the genealogy stuff, all the people, the places, the things, the locations, the services, all of that information is all on the authority asset. Who's the authority about your business? You. And then what do I need in order to be perceived as the expert or as the authority? Well, I need the information that I say to be also said here, 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 here. You with me? So we're just taking our core content and we're blasting it into our social fortress. I call this brand amplification. Are you with me? That's what we're doing. But don't get stuck on, oh, PBNs are dead. This is not a PBN. This has a core function. This is another asset that is going to be highly authoritative, highly relevant, echoing exactly what you said about yourself. Are you with me? And that's what you need. Moving forward, if I don't have more co-citation to back up what I say about myself, you're toast. You're done. Okay? That's the name of the game. Okay. You get the social fortress? You get the concept of that? Hopefully I explained that one a little bit better. I'll do one more. All right, link building is link building. Yeah, I went through that one already. Let's see if you have any questions, actually. Are you going to cover the May update? Well, what niche are you in, Alvin? What niche or category are you in? Are you a local business, an e-com business? What type of business are you in? And how did it affect your ranking ability, the update? What happened to you? I'll be very transparent. Let's just hypothetically say, let's just say hypothetically, I have 100 white label clients. I would say 70 of them are doing phenomenal, whether it's maps or pages. As far as, partner deals, whether it's real estate or law, I can't do the law, but, it's high ticket. I'm not licensed. Those sites, those assets that are authority, that are following the procedure to a T, consistently creating content, just doing everything right, consistently running ads. The stuff that you're supposed to do, but you never get to. Well, these websites and these businesses do very consistently for forevermore. Those sites are still doing phenomenal. Cheers, Chris. You're the best. So are you, brother. Is the Mastermind membership on YouTube? And on your site, the same thing. On SEOmastermind.org, that is a great place to sign up. I have had private classes for the past few weeks. I wanted to open it up to a more public group at a much lower cost. So what I was doing is I was acquiring emails. So if you're interested in joining a mastermind that's more private than this, sign up at SEOmastermind.org. But it will be different. The format's different. See, the SEO Mastermind at SEOmastermind.org is I'm actually showcasing the tests that we're doing. Like, in order to know, to come up with these answers, like, they didn't just fall from the sky. These concepts, these ideas, these strategies, we've tested them. I've tested them on live projects and on test assets. I've tested them with clients like, hey, we had a really great result on this on this asset. Hey, let's take it live. But let's take it into a city that, we can take some risk. So yeah, we're going to do testing. And then the only other piece that will be different is live classes. So the live classes I'm currently funneling, I guess. I hate to say that term, but I'm pushing people right now to a sign up page so I can do week-long boot camps. All right. And those boot camps are going to be corely focused upon specific skills. Most notably, whether you want to run ads, whether you want to have a white label SEO agency, whether you want to be an affiliate, mostly catering towards other SEOs that are agency or small or want to run a business. So yeah, it's up to you. Sign up if you're interested in testing and learning more, or hang out with me right here. And you can have the content without the context. That's the difference between the groups. I'll give you the content here on YouTube, just not with all of the context. Anything else? No? Great. I'm going to bed. No, I won't. Let's see here. Here, let's see if I can give you another one. Here. ARGIS. No, it's not Argos. ARGIS. I thought it came to me. I'm talking about the location-specific information. What is it? Like a Primo map? Add all attributes. What you're after is the attributes. If there is a JSON format or there's a hierarchy of any sort, well, then this is the standard. Because that's just always how it is. Once you figure out what the standard is, it's like these companies, it's not that they build anything, they just build on top of stuff that already exists. It's funny. So once you find the core structure or hierarchy, you'll know everything you'll need to know. Map attribute table. That could be helpful. So there you go. I think it is this ARGIS Pro, ARCGIS. This is one vector type. But understanding what those attributes are, understanding them was, hey, for me to be relevant for this location, well, I need to have these attributes. Easy. I mean, I could talk all day about SEO. Or do you have anything else? Are you also covering indexing, use of multi-login, CTR, and other black hattery in my mastermind? Well, so, content without too much context, okay? I let stuff slip, though, sometimes. And that was the other core thing I wanted to change. When I'm at the mastermind previously, I used to record them, and it would cast shadow. Like I couldn't talk freely, almost like when you're on YouTube. Like I'm very free as opposed to a lot of others on this particular platform. I let a lot go. But in the mastermind, I would just let everything go. But I found myself not wanting to. So I wanted to change that. Like no recordings, 1 day a week, very long session. But here's what we've been working on. I'll share something with you. So you said a name specifically, multi-login, okay? Now, multi-login is really cool, okay? But at this time, it only has one function, okay? Multi-login is just a housing, okay? So we're going to say it's the multi-login house. So what we're going to do is we're just going to house the accounts that have been created here, okay? And this is what is called multi-login. Now, why would I want to do this? Well, the reason why we want to use multi-login is because it's going to be utilizing two different things. One, puppeteer, don't mind the spelling. The other one is going to be playwright, okay? Now, this one is really special because of stealth functionality, but also these two play together really well because I want there to be phone automation. Okay? I need to be able to utilize a browser that looks like an authentic browser that can be automated. Okay? Now, here's the rub. This is not for traffic. No. Unfortunately, no. I tried every which way. But what I was able to decipher is it makes a great housing element. And here's what I mean. When you buy a device, okay? So let's just say you have a device. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. A little bit of here, right? Speaker. There's my phone. How's it look? Horrible, Chris. Okay. Well, that's all I got. So you have a device. Well, each device actually has what is called an IMEI. Okay? This is the social security number of the phone. Now, hidden underneath, very important, okay, is also another code, another tracking code. Up until, do you remember when the iPhone 6 flipped, right? Like, remember when that first wave of outdated devices? That's when it changed. You see, you have the IMEI. That's the time frame. I don't know what year that was, but that was the time frame. Right when that, or maybe it was the 8. Anyway, you have the IMEI, and that's the device. Now, most phones actually come with 2 IMEI slots, okay? And this is where what is called an eSIM comes into play. More importantly, a global eSIM, all right? Take notes. Global eSIM, all right? Now, these come with phone numbers, text capabilities, and they're on the best networks worldwide, right? Yeah. And on top of that, I can also buy 1 GB of data. Now, you and I know that each page load is what? 17 kilobytes, 8 kilobytes, right? Because we still need to, I don't need to load everything completely, but I need it to trigger enough that Google counts it as an actual load. I digress. So we need to load enough, about 8 kilobytes, 8 to 12 kilobytes, okay? So 1 gig is more than enough to execute the searches that I need. So I had a eSIM that's a number on the best networks with traffic that's tied to the eSIM. Here's the trouble, though. See, this device has a hidden number, okay? And this is a carrier ID number, okay? This is another social security number, all right? So the device, it's kind of like Carfax, right? Like, man, the outside looks good. And the guy that I'm talking to, he said, oh, yeah, I was the only owner, right? But the UMID, the carrier ID number, that's the Carfax. And the Carfax said, hey, this is actually a rebuild, and he's actually the 4th owner, right? And that is why each of these devices is only worth 2 accounts. Okay? 2 accounts per device. Cheapest device on the market, brand new, is a Moto, and they're about, $70? And no matter where you go, you can't buy weight. You can't go to Walmart.com and buy 50 of them. They limit you to 2 per unit. Because why do you need 50 phones? You might be able to find a manufacturer, or you might be able to go shopping and find the ones that you need. But these are about $75 each. Okay? Each of these turns into 2 accounts. Okay? These 2 accounts are then warmed with the gig and housed here. Housed. Not for traffic. Not for traffic. But as far as high quality accounts, for your Tinder profiles and whatnot, Yelp profiles maybe perhaps, I don't know. There you go, I just gave you the play. Highly effective, but they're on to us. But I'm gonna give you one. I'm gonna give you a little bit more game. I got one more thing I'll give you. Here's something else I was working on. I had an uproar internally. See, these are the things, to to understand how things work, especially at at this level, um, it takes a lot of time. Sometimes the people here don't understand what you're doing up there. It's weird, but that's okay. I have another one for you. Are you ready? So we showcased the actual devices, how you can get very high quality accounts. Now this is, oh boy, this is USA. All right. I want to give you this a key piece of information for you. All right. Now, it doesn't have to be in the exact state. Okay. But it's zoned by region. And I'm not the one that regioned it. Google's not the one that regioned it. The cellular companies have regioned it. Okay. So yes, your proxy providers that are selling to a retail customer are flipping, like your Oxy, Icy Proxy and these guys, right? The 25 cents use a mobile proxy that is a back connect IPv4, and they're just swapping. They're just trash, garbage. Don't do it to yourselves. They'll work for a little while, but then you'll get whacked. Okay. Another piece of information for you. Like those back connect IPv4 setups with the NAT setup, it's great at first. But once that cycle gets hit, you're just changing. I don't know if you ever noticed this. You'll have like 17, I'm just hypothetical, 179, 113, 182, colon, 8080, right? This number changes, right? And then two, depending on where you're buying them from, this number will change too, because that's how the vendor is separating them for you, right? So this number will seem like it changed, but this doesn't matter, this number at all, okay? Like the colon, whatever. But this number is what's being changed. This is what's being flipped, but this is the server. You're whacked. That's the back connect. All right? So all I'm getting at is the mobile proxies that are back connect to IPv4, it's not going to work anymore. Junkola. All right? You're spinning your wheels. I've spun all the wheels. I've lost all the bags, right? Like, I've made every failure. Here's something that will be very helpful for you if you're actually interested in that type of information. All right. The back connect IPv4s, I've had 3 different networks set up. I had a 250, a 250, and a 90, right? That's 250 dongles, and a 90 dongle, right? Servers in each place. $8,000, like crazy loss, right? But wonderful at the time. Now, what we want to look at now is, especially now with what is called these global eSIM, all right? This is one aspect, but the eSIM, the capability to be able to change that quickly, this is amazing. This is great, right? And I know it's been around for a while, but not all of them hasn't been as efficient as it is now. I digress. Now, there's something that's better. Well, not faster and not a lot better, but for what we're doing, it's better. There's actually 2 things. And if you're interested in generating traffic, at the end of the day, it's all about who can do the most, the fastest, for the cheapest, right? Whoever's the fastest, the best, and the cheapest. Think of these 2 things: fast, cheap. So if I want residential fast, cheap, what's the best? Edge. So What you need to be able to learn to do is rotate and route traffic through the edge network. That will take care of your residential. That's a tricky one too. That took me a while. Good luck with that. That took a while. There is no Grok or ChatGPT lookups that are going to help you figure that out. That actually cost money, but that's the play though. Okay. Here's the next one. When we're talking about 4G, 5G, see, everybody's running looking for these, right? 5Gs, 6Gs, 8Gs. But there's a network that you could set up for less than a G. I can house more than 2,000 phones worldwide, not worldwide, in the USA. Now, I don't have 1,000 phones set up, but we do have 400 phones, maybe like 370 set up in 3 different locations, those same 3 locations, but we just swapped it out. Here, I'll give. See, now with the new capabilities, you know those, as like a smart refrigerator, right? A smart microwave. Well, each of these actually have device IDs. Okay? I'm going to leave that there with you. I'm just going to leave you with that. Okay? A lot of these have the capability to be a host, too, by the way. It's a way to magnify the amount of devices that I have on the network. Just saying. Okay? Now, not all manufacturers are going to work. Some are harder than others, but I essentially have a very large network and in every state. Okay? Now, with the capabilities, previously, 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, no one would ever transfer data over that network. So it's up to you. But if you want to run edge, if you want to run residential cheap and fast, figure out edge. It can be routed through these CDNs. You can run and it'll count. The next thing that you want to take a look at is steer clear of these. Unless you're running mass text message campaigns, then I like this one and this one. But what we're really looking for here is actually try it. I'm not telling you. It's the new updated version of running smart TVs, not the old version. But now you can actually transfer enough data, and it's insane. And you can set them up. It's like you can basically be your own cell phone provider. Like if it was just you and say you wanted to talk to your wife or your children, easy. You can literally go, if you live in Florida, you can literally go to California and talk on your own little network. Okay? But in fact, these networks can carry enough information, some of them, in order to generate unique traffic, unique behavior signals coming from multiple hosts simultaneously. So yeah, that's that. What else did you have? I did I answer any other things? Indexing. Yeah, I mean, there's a little twist to it, but I believe. What did I do with that? Not this one. You remember remember back in the day, our boy Bradley at Semantic Mastery, right? Great guy, by the way. Sat and had dinner with them, spoke to him a couple times. Great guy. Nothing bad about him, but remember when they came out with the originating, what was the dude's name that came out with it first? Remember, like they were doing the, what was that guy's name? I forget his name. Doesn't matter. But they were doing the drive stacks, right? Now, I know it's old. Just bear with me here. And when I was only a few years in, and I didn't see everything like I see it now, I would have said, oh man, it was just that core 50 documents, right? But actually, Bradley probably has 100 Google accounts. And the dude that built them probably had 100. And that dude probably had another 100. You with me? And then don't forget, each of these has 100. And all of these files were actually shared tens, if not hundreds of thousands of times, all on Google servers. So was it the drive file, or that this information was pounded tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of times across their servers, right? And two, you can't say, well, it's not showing in the forward-facing index, but when you have an actual account, when you log in, it was auto-loaded, right? Like if you go look at the source code when you log into Google like this, you'll see that those drive files and those folders are there, right? I digress. So I said that to say this, okay? That concept, all right, alongside of, which I think we already covered, RSS XHML, okay, is primary crawling service, okay? Like, I never believe in indexing services because nobody hits at 100, right? I can't force Google to do anything, but I can definitely force them to come take a look. Like, I guarantee I'm gonna get seen. Now, is it gonna make it past all the layers? Ugh. But here's a step that I didn't share. I'll give it to you since it'll be the last concept. If it's something really hard and we're having trouble, then we'll blast it across drive. Okay. And note, like all of our drives, all the drives that you've ever connected with are connected. Okay. Whether it's visible or not, it's all connected. Just saying. So drive is one aspect of indexation for us. There's lots of ways to win. And that encompasses also Blogger, which I can set up anyway. So here's the thing that a lot of people miss. I can create one RSS feed. Okay? RSS. But this RSS.xml is only for, I don't know, a URL that I want to win or a key term I want to win. Now, I have 1,000 of these. I made one singular RSS feed, but it's just one URL, one item, one publication, you with me? But I have 1,000 of them. So I make another RSS feed, another RSS feed, another RSS feed, but they're all singular. Okay? And I take them, put them into one. I take these URLs, the RSS URLs, and and that's how you make your stack here. All right? Are you following along? I'm not sure if you get that. That's the thing I didn't show anybody yet. That's how you get it to work. You're welcome. All right, man, this info. Thank you. I'm glad I could give it to you. I'm glad I could share it with you, my friend. I hope it helps you, man. All right. I'm ready for bed, bro. Yeah, dude, midnight. All right. Anything else? Cheers, Chris. You're the best. Bye. Thank you. Appreciate that. Are you also covering, other black hattery? I don't do any black hat. Nothing I've covered tonight crosses the line, the proverbial line. I don't ever cross the line. Dude, I don't even go over the speed limit. I always wear my seatbelt. Serious. I don't play at all. I can't, zero risk. I can't be taken away, not even for a second, a tenth of a second. You know, time's too valuable to me. You know what I mean? No risk ever. Not in my life, not anymore. Let me see here. Let's take a look at this here. What is that new one called? I know the old one. Oh, it's making me insane here. Let's take a look here. What is that network? On the what network? What is that old crappy one called? What do they call that? Remember the old network? I can't recall the name of it. Okay. So like smart devices mostly don't use 4G or 5G. They use, what's the old name called? No, not the 5G HC. No, that's not it. It's not BLE. You can set up the Raspberry Pis into it too. I can't think of the name of it for some reason. It'll pop out. LTE. Well, lot. LOT. This is old school. This is the this is the new. It's still cheap, inexpensive. I can put a bunch of people on. I don't need any regulation. There's no registration. I don't need an MVNO. I don't need anything. I don't need a physical address. I don't need to answer to some person asking me 9,000 questions about me and my usage cases. Like, don't worry about it. You know, like being able to transfer data is becoming increasingly hard, especially when you're trying to earn dollars, right? So, but there are other ways. So that LOT is the old school one. Now, there are variations of that LOT. I doubt you'll be able to view pages on that. I don't think you can. But that new variation, you can transfer enough data now. I mean, it's not that it's not fast by any stretch of the imagination. However, what's great about it, though, is you could have like, I mean, picture these endless across the board. And these are all free hosts. And each device has its own unique identifier. Insane. A unique identifier, endless throughout the entire United States. And you know what? There's not even any security. Not for a transmission. Like, it's not like I want to take over or change any settings. It's just a pass through. They don't even block it. Anyway, I love you guys. I've said way too much. You have a great rest of your night. And I'll see you in the next one, I guess. Is there anything I can help you out with? I know there's only a few of you. I mean, if you've been rocking with me this far, dude, I've been working on this too. Oh my gosh. Dude, actually writing a book is hard. I had some help, but like I was trying to format it. See, last time I paid this lady on Fiverr $80 to format and what was the words I used? Beef up my book, right? Like I had a basic format. I said, beef this baby up and format it for me. She did it for me in like a day. It was literally $85, right? Or something like that. I forget her name. I didn't know her. She lived in Africa or Gandhi or something. In any case, she did it for $85. She did it very fast, very efficient. But dude, it's very difficult. This is the tool set in order to format your book. I wrote it inside of Docs. So you could take the docs and then put it into the EPUB and the other formats. So that's another thing that I'll be showcasing Well, in the mastermind, right? Not just my book, but there's always a reason for everything. I'm not going to utilize my time unless there's a much greater purpose, right? But it's just one more stepping stone towards the actual goal. And this is a tedious one. But all right, I talked enough. Is there any questions? No? All right. I love you guys. You have a great rest of your night. Many blessings. Tomorrow is little Chris's last day. He gets out at 10 a.m. I'm stoked. He's stoked. Dude, I love hanging out in the summertime. I was by myself as a kid, dude. I'd be by myself all summer in Florida sweating my cookies off. You know? Wandering around in the woods, looking to light something on fire. I love you guys. Have a great rest of your day.